All right, guys. Oh, sorry. SoundCloud wanted to rip back on from earlier, but we're heading to Laramie, Wyoming, so I figured now would be a good time to do my rest day video, because when I'm at Meadows, I'm not really going to feel like whipping out my camera and doing a rest day video. So I know we're in more hick attire than you guys are used to, you know. I'm wearing the nice little Hui vest and a nice fucking Ariat button up. Usually this is the button up I like to wear if I'm just out in the field or it's kind of colder at work. I love me a good button up, and this is an FR button up. So, and honestly, I've kind of started to really buy more FR clothes, which is just flame retardant. You have to wear it, like if you go out on an oil field location, it's like required. You're supposed to wear FR, steel toes, hard hat. So I've kind of just been buying more FR clothes because FR clothes are like low-key pretty comfy, and they're like pretty durable, I think, you know. Like I have a Carhartt long sleeve, and I like to wear long sleeves during the winter underneath my hoodie. Just helps keep you a little extra warm and doesn't get my arms as dry throughout the day. And like the Carhartt long sleeve I have from them, it's like nice, like it's thick and it's durable, so I do like it. And then this button up, it's kind of almost like a bit of a flannel. I got it at Murdoch's last weekend when I got another pair of shoes, because like they had like a clearance rack, and I've been looking for a long sleeve button up. I have one, but I got it when I was last bulked up to like 190 pounds and like was going up a size, so I didn't look as fat. And now it's like I can actually wear the size I truly am and feel comfortable about it. And so I got this one. It was usually like 130 bucks, and it was on sale for like 75, I believe. And even better than that, they were doing like an additional 20% off that day on like, it was 20% off everything. It was when I went up on Halloween, so I don't know if they had some weird little Halloween dealio going on, but pretty fucking awesome in my opinion. So I got this. I love the shit out of it, and I've had this vest. Big vest guy, guys. Vests are fucking awesome. Now, two things I like to dress on. I like to dress when I'm going to the gym, okay? I like to have on a nice gym fit. Second, if I'm not working, I like to be wearing some nice shit, like a nice fucking country looking polo or a nice country button up. And that's just kind of, I don't know, a personal thing, you know. Some people are just like, oh, let me, nice t-shirt and some nice Nike shorts, and I'll wear that sometimes, but you know, I kind of hung around the country crowd in high school, so it's kind of what I'm adapted to, you know. And I do like it a lot, you know. I think it looks really clean. I think it looks very etiquette-ful, so I'm just trying to get up to speed limit here. I just got on the interstate, so it's probably a little louder, but hopefully it doesn't interfere with my mic too much. I don't really know that I've ever actually done a video on the interstate before, but I was like, you know, I figure like it'll kind of help pass a little time if I just do like 20 minutes of talking, and here we'll actually get into like a actual lifting conversation. I was kind of just bullshitting, giving some back lore, whatever, doesn't really matter much. But I got my water for the trip. I got my White Monster in case I get tired, and I still got my leftover BCAAs I need to finish. I find that, like, I don't know, some like days when I work out, I'm super good about drinking my fluids, and some days when I work out, it feels like, you know, I'm 3/4 of the way through my workout, and I'm like, fuck, I still got a sip or two left of pre-workout. I need to finish it and start downing my BCAAs and dextrose. So, you know how it be, but yeah. And it's also because leg day, like, okay, obviously like quad and hamstring wise, it's high, but compared to like doing a pull day, it's not as long. I can get a leg day done a lot quicker. I do need like longer rest periods, you know, like after a set of fucking heavy leg press, I gotta give myself like a good 3 to 4 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, ready to hop into this next set. But like on like a pull day, like I do a set of lat pull downs, I'll give myself like a minute 30 and I'm ready to rip again. But it's like more volume, because it's like I'm hitting my lats, I'm hitting my top back, I'm hitting my traps, I'm hitting my rear delts, and then I'm hitting biceps. versus legs, it's like I'm hitting my quads, my hamstrings, my calves, so it's not all too bad. And legs is also a muscle group. It's like such a big muscle that I feel like you just got to throw some heavy weight at it. Throw heavy weight at it for like 8 to 12 reps, 3 sets, 2 different movements, kind of trying to stretch it from a different position, and you're pretty dialed and locked in my honest opinion. Some people would tell you different. Some people would be like, you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to attack this head and then you got to attack this head and then you got to attack this third head. Me personally, I've seen it work beyond wonders to just do a few sets of leg press, do some RDLs, do some curls, and do some leg extensions and some sissy squats. And I'm like, oh my God, like every part of my leg feels like it's about to burst. And it works perfect for me, Any more for me, and I'm like, it's like, it's almost like I feel like I'm doing a little too much. But also for me, legs is just one of those body parts that I feel gets pumped up so freaking easy for me. I mean, it's just one of those things for me. And my legs have always I don't think it's like a great body part per se, but like compared to what my legs used to look like, it's pretty fantastic. I'll see if I can find a picture and I'll plug it in right here or something. But a crazy, monumental difference. I used to run cross country, I used to run long distance track, and I was pretty good at it. My freshman year, I got second at regionals in the 2 mile, and then at state, I got I think it's 8 kids go from both regions. There's 2 regions in Wyoming. So, and in Wyoming, it's 2A, 3A, 4A. My school was 3A, so I'm racing with all the 3A kids. There's 16 of us. I got 12th place, but I was expected to get 4th or 5th, and I tore my meniscus during the second lap. Well, I think my meniscus was already torn, so I was playing baseball too at the time. This is my freshman year, so baseball and track ain't no lap, but baseball in Wyoming isn't like a school sport, it's like a club sport. So I just remember at baseball practice one day, we were doing some drill where we were just batting practice, but it was more live batting practice. So it was we had someone pitching, you'd hit, and you either strike out or you hit the ball. And so I got a little dinger into left field or something like that, and I got a double. But during my double, I was getting kind of rounded to a triple because there was an error, and I had to stop on my knee. And I just remember it really fucking hurt. And I was just kind of pushed through it a little bit, and I got home and my knee was super swollen, really bad. And then I remember I was just kind of icing it, putting Deep Blue on it. It really hurt, couldn't really walk on it. And then I remember I kind of got over it, ran regionals, did great at regionals. It hurt, but I was able to push through it and get away with it. And then going into state week, prep during state week, my knee just really started bugging me. It really hurt, but I just kept pushing through it because I was I want to fucking place at state my freshman year. This is gonna be fucking awesome. And so just kept pushing through it. And then got to state week, state day. I remember it was fucking snowing, and it's probably May 12th or so, middle-ish of May, and it's snowing, a fucking blizzard, and it's about summer, it's been really warm outside, and it's fucking blizzarding. It's super cold, it's fucking miserable. I remember during the race wearing a fucking compression 3/4 long sleeve underneath my fucking tank top, and then my spandex shorts and just socks and my fucking spikes. And I just was oh my God, it was so cold. And the thing with if you're doing a sprint, I think you can get away with a beanie and gloves and stuff. But the thing with running long distance is it's you're running for so long that your body starts to get so warm that you don't want all those layers on, because you can't take the layers off during a race. So it's kind of a bit trickier. But I remember going to the race, felt great. We line up, we you'd obviously it's like there's not heats because it's state. It's like, and it's a 2 mile, so it's like there's only 16 kids, you know, versus like 100 meter where there's like probably like 40 kids or something like that, and there's like a few heats until a final heat. And the 2 mile, it's just like, it's one time, you know, you got your 16 kids, and how they do it is they like stagger you. So it's like based off your times, they'll like start you. So it'll be like, you'll be in like lane 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it'll be like, there'd be 2 kids in each lane, but you're kind of staggered. So it's like one of you's a little on the left and one of you's like a little to the right of them. And it's like for the first, like, I can't remember, it's like, you know, that first curve, you can't brake out of your lane until like after like 100 meters or so is probably what it is. What am I trying to think here? Yeah, so it's like that, and usually you want to be, I think it's this like the second or the third lane, because those are supposedly the fastest lanes. That's the lane you want to be in. And so I was in the first lane because I was probably like, I was like 4th or 5th fastest, I can't quite remember. And I just remember I'm fucking pumped, dude. I'm fucking ready to go. It's fucking cold. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking push through this. This is gonna be awesome, okay? And so the 8 mile, so four laps is a mile. And so, you know, 8 laps would be the 2 miles. So you run 8 laps in a 2 mile, okay? Also, it's a fucking dog shit race. If you're doing track, the 2 mile fucking blows cock. And so we're fucking running, and first lap goes great. We break, and I think I'm like 4th in the pack, okay? I'm behind like 2 kids from Buffalo, Wyoming, and a kid from fucking Rawlins, Wyoming. So I'm in 4th place, and like everyone else is like a little bit further behind. And you know, the thing that was always cool about long distance is like kids were like, they were always pretty nice, you know? And like a lot of times during the 2 mile, it really helped. You could like find somebody to run with and stick with them. And like you guys could kind of just like bullshit talk a little bit. And it's just like long distance, it's like you should be able to do that if you're in such good fucking shape. And so like, you know, me and these kids, we're just like talking a little bit of shit, just like being funny with each other, fucking around a little bit. And then the first kid breaks off. Like this kid was he was fucking a mutant. We were like, me and the 2 Buffalo kids, because like Douglas and Buffalo, like our track teams were always like pretty close. Like we always went to like the same meets. So like I knew these kids pretty well. I'd been racing with them the entire year and like all my events. So like I knew them pretty well. And like we just were like talking before, we were like, let's try and keep up with this Rawlins kid. And everyone knew he was gonna win state. This kid was fucking like probably a minute ahead of everyone else, you know, super fucking good, like crazy. And so me and the Buffalo kids were running. We make it like 3 laps, getting like around like the 1,200 meter mark, so a lap left to before your mile marker. And I just remember I just like took a step, and I just remember almost falling over, and they were like, come on, come on. And I was like, guys, I don't know what I did, but I can't keep up with you. I was like, I just fucked up my knee somehow, some way. And I just remember it was fucking freezing, and my nose was like dripping snot because it was so cold. And I just remember I had to fall back. And then I just remember like kind of limping the race. My knee hurt so bad. And then I remember I got done with the race, and my coach is like, what happened? What happened? And I'm like, I don't know, dude, but my knee is fucked. I'm like, my knee is done for. It's toast. Something's really fucked up. And so we went to like the medics, and it was really cold outside, and they're like, here's some ice, here's a wrap. You need to get an MRI scheduled. You probably got something torn. Got the MRI scheduled, tore my meniscus, sucked, got surgery scheduled, got surgery. They said it was really bad, like worse than the pictures looked. So we got our surgery, and then, you know, got our recovery done and everything, and it was a really shitty process. It really did suck, you know. I wasn't super happy about it, and I just remember it was one of those things, like, I just remember we were like on the bus ride home, and I just remember like a lot of people rode home with their parents, but I remember, I've talked about this in the past, but like, you know, it was like, my mom's like always got to take care of my sisters and stuff, so it's like I've always been more alone. And so like it was almost like I was so like heartbroken because, like, you know, none of my family came and watched me Meta wasn't able to come and watch me because she was like in Florida on a trip with her family. And so like I didn't have anyone there to support me. I didn't have anyone to talk to. And so I just remember the bus ride home, there wasn't really anybody. And I just remember like sitting there and putting my face like against the seat in front of me and just like quietly bawling my eyes out. Like I just was so disappointed because I felt like I was like holding up so much and I had such high expectations for myself, and I just crumbled, you know? And it really sucked. And obviously I'm over it now. I got over it. It just really sucked because it's like when you know you can do something and then it feels like the world stacks up all the odds against you and says, fuck you, this isn't happening. It's just like it really sucks, you know? It's like I was right there. I knew I could do it. Everyone knew I could do it. I believed in myself fully. I was going to do everything it took, and I fell short because of something kind of out of my control. That's what really sucked about it, and that's what in the situation really, you know, upsetted me and got to me. So it was just a shitty situation. It sucked, and I'm over it now, and I've been over it, but yeah, it really sucked. And then sophomore year, ended up running cross country. I was pretty good at cross country, not good enough to fucking, you know, place at state. I mean, cross country's crazy, you know? There's like 100 kids in state. I think I got like 23rd or something, but it's like, oh, cross country's just fucking difficult, dude. It's hard. It really is hard. So I run cross country sophomore year. I was still about 132 pounds-ish. Wrestled at like 126. Got in a lot of trouble during wrestling season. Didn't get to finish the season out. Don't make stupid decisions in high school, guys. You'll regret it because that's the only time you had to play sports, and afterwards you're done. And then I ran track again, and I got a lot slower during track because that's when I kind of like got into lifting again and was like really pushing calories and stuff and trying to bulk. And I got to like 150, and you know, you put on weight, you're not going to run as fast. You're supposed to be pretty skinny if you're a runner. So I wasn't nearly as fast, but I still held my own and did pretty good in the 800 and the mile. Just wasn't really a 2-mile runner anymore. Okay. And then I ended up running cross country junior year. I didn't really want it. I wanted to commit to the gym. I was like, I want to commit to the gym. And I also just really wanted to play football. But I ended up committing to cross country for my last season, junior year, because my buddy Tanner Johnson, he was like the one that got me into doing track my freshman year, and I was really good friends with him, and it was his senior year because he was a grade older than me. I was like, I'm gonna do cross country for him. I was like, I'll feel bad if I don't. I want to run with him. I love the shit out of him. He's an awesome dude. He helped me a lot through high school. So I ran it for him. I wasn't really fast or anything. I was just kind of doing it, and it was all right. It was what it was. And, you know, then I went into my wrestling season, and obviously that's when I decided I'm not going to do this anymore. And I committed to the gym. And summer going into my senior year, the gym didn't go super good. I was really focused too much on work, and I was working like 4 jobs. I was working at an electrician place. I was doing my detailing company. I was working for my buddy Heston, landscaping. I was working at Peak Fitness, and I was still lifeguarding. So that's 5 jobs that I was doing, and it was way too much, you know. I'd like wake up at 7 o'clock. Yeah, I think my work at electrician would start at like 7 o'clock. It'd go till 5. And then I would detail a car, and then I would do a closing shift at Peak. And then Saturday and Sunday, I would work lifeguarding. And a lot of times I'd work morning laps through the weekdays. So I'd be up from like, you know, 4:30 until 10 o'clock. And it really just wore down my body. And like, I didn't have time for the gym. Like there was no open time in my schedule to go to the gym. Now, obviously, I know a lot of the times I like to be like, people who say they can't go to the gym, they don't have time, just aren't making time for it. But it was like, from the time my day started to the time it ended, Peak Fitness was open. Those were the only hours I had to do it, and I was working. And you know, I don't regret working that much because I feel like it taught me a lot of lessons. Like it taught me like it's not worth working so many jobs, because you just got to find one job and maybe a side hustle to focus on. because once you start trying to throw in too much and you want to make money, it's like you're going to make less money, because instead of just putting all your effort and all your eggs into one basket, you're putting it into different baskets, and you're not giving all your attention to one job or two jobs. And so after that summer, I was like, that's what I got to do. So I was just doing detailing, and I was just mowing with my buddy, and then we did like leaf cleanup and stuff, and it was a lot better, because I was just too focused on money, instead of being like, and then when I stepped back, kind of looked at it and realized like, oh, I just need to do detailing and do mowing. And that's when I made more money, because I was able to put more attention into like detailing, advertising, and getting lots of clients. And that's when I started to make more money, because I was focusing on it. So it really helped a lot. And like same thing with the gym, you know, when I really decided like, hey, I'm just gonna work one job, you know, I work my fucking 7 to 5, and then I go to the gym, I eat all my meals. That's when I was really able to lock in on the gym, especially when I started at Roadrunner. And before that, I was able to lock in pretty good. Like during the school year, when I was just mowing and I was detailing, it was like I was set to go to the gym. I had plenty of time, no worries at all. It worked great, and it wasn't like an issue at all. So it was actually pretty awesome. And you know, I haven't skipped a beat since. Like, you know, like first day of my senior year was when I really like re-locked in. So, you know, we're about like probably a year and a few months like really dialed and eating the same shit and fucking executing and staying locked. And obviously I feel like over the last year or so we've learned a lot, you know. I feel like just diet wise, you know, like nutrition, lifting wise, I feel like everything has gotten so much better, and like just intensity and mindset, I feel like we've just grown so much as an individual. And that's what I love about bodybuilding, is it's like I'm always trying new shit, I'm always learning new shit, somebody's always telling me something new that I kind of put a perspective on, you know, gives me a new perspective to think on and look at things from different sides of the box, instead of being so focused on my way is the only way. You got to be open-minded. If you're closed-minded, you know, you're never gonna accomplish anything. You know, if you're so closed-minded on like your way is the only way, you're not going to get anywhere with bodybuilding. And that's just the unfortunate truth to it. You got to be open to others' ideas, especially like, you know, it's like, what are you going to do without it? You know, if you just get in the gym and you think your way is the only way, you're like, Arnold Split's the only way, Arnold knew what he was talking about. It's like, okay, I get why you argue that. Arnold was a great bodybuilder, but was Arnold also competing like 50 years ago? Yeah, he's a little, like, everything's way newer, you know, via like scientific studies, other Olympias. Obviously gear's a lot more potent, and cycles, and nutrition is way, way different. I mean, it's crazy different. So it's like, you know, a lot of training mentalities have been switched up, and I like to look at it from a ton of different perspectives. Now, some people are like, oh, you're scientifical, but I don't really like to call myself that at all. I think I like to kind of mix right in the middle of just lifting heavy shit hard as fuck and being somewhat scientifical about it. I'm like, I'm gonna get a good range of motion, I'm gonna have a pretty good negative, and other than that, I'm gonna train heavy as fuck, I'm gonna train hard as fuck, and I'm gonna train around, like, you know, I like to be 8 to 10 reps. That's me, and I do a little bit of progressive overloading. I'm not like so deep into the rabbit hole that I'm like, I gotta hit this head and this head. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go in there, train my ass off, and fucking see the results. And that's kind of my mindset on it, but you know what it is, guys. I've been yapping for so fucking long, so I really do love to talk to you guys though, and it's been more than 30 minutes probably for sure, so I hope you guys actually watched this whole video. I kind of poured my heart and soul out there for a little bit, so I mean, you know, I will see you guys on Sunday. Well, for you guys it'll be Monday. I will see you guys on Monday for another push day. I love you all so much. You know, I hope you all had a great weekend.